Success is something you attract by the person you become. If you want more success, focus on personal growth, discipline, and mindset shifts. Improve your skills, your habits, and your thinking. Success follows value. If you are unreliable, success will never trust you. If you are not disciplined, success will never stay with you. If you think small, success will remain out of reach. Your outer world will always be a reflection of your inner world. So today, I'm not here to tell you how to chase success. I'm here to show you how to become the kind of person success will chase. When you make this shift, when you transform your mind, your habits, your values, success will have no choice but to find you. Consider a young man who starts in sales. At first he struggles. He can't seem to close a deal. He blames the economy, the company, even his customers. But then he decides to change something. Himself. He studies sales techniques, improves his communication, learns negotiation skills, and develops confidence. A year later, he's closing deals effortlessly. What changed? Not the economy, not the marketplace. He changed. And when he changed, everything around him changed. Success is always looking for a home. It finds a place to stay. With those who are prepared, those who have built themselves into something valuable. That's why you must dedicate yourself to growth. Learn something new every day. Improve your skills. Strengthen your mindset. The world is full of people wishing for success while refusing to become the person worthy of it. But that's not you. You understand that if you build your value, success will come, not as a matter of luck, but as a matter of law. Think about the greatest leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. They didn't start wealthy or successful. They started as people who were obsessed with growth. They read books, sought mentors, studied relentlessly, and built habits that made them unstoppable. Over time, they became so valuable that success had no choice but to follow them. If you want more, become more. It's that simple. Spend 30 minutes a day sharpening your mind. Read a book that stretches your thinking. Listen to someone who has walked the path ahead of you. Learn a new skill that makes you more valuable to the world. Every day that you invest in yourself, you increase your attraction power. Life is full of seasons. There's a time for growth, a time for challenge, a time for reaping, and a time for starting over. Those who refuse to adjust when seasons change find themselves stuck, struggling, and eventually left behind. But those who embrace change, who learn to move with the seasons of life, are the ones who succeed in the long run. Imagine a farmer who insists on planting seeds in the dead of winter. No matter how much he wishes for spring, no matter how hard he works, nature won't bend to his stubbornness. But the wise farmer knows he must adjust to the seasons. He plants in the spring, cultivates in the summer, harvests in the fall, and prepares in the winter. That's how life works. Success is not about forcing your way through when conditions are against you. It's about adapting and making the best moves for the season you're in. Think about a business owner who launches a new product, believing it will change everything. But after months of effort, sales are slow and customers aren't interested. He has two choices: complain that the market is unfair or adjust his approach. The ones who succeed are those who take the feedback, refine their strategy, and pivot instead of stubbornly clinging to what isn't working. The same applies to your personal growth. Maybe you had a plan: go to school, get a job, climb the ladder, and find success. But what happens when the ladder disappears? What happens when the industry shifts? Those who panic and resist change are left behind. But those who stay flexible, who learn new skills, adapt to new realities, and seize new opportunities, are the ones who keep moving forward. There will be moments in life when obstacles seem to block your path. Maybe a business fails, a relationship ends, or an opportunity slips away. In those moments, you have a choice: complain or adjust. The people who attract success don't waste time blaming circumstances. Instead, they ask, what's the lesson here? What is this trying to teach me? And then they use that lesson to pivot, adjust, and keep moving forward. Success is reserved for those who are willing to evolve. If one door closes, find another. If the road is blocked, take a different path. The key is not to be so attached to your plans that you fail to see the opportunities hidden within the setbacks. Stay flexible, stay adaptable, and you'll find that success has a way of finding those who are willing to move with life's changing seasons. Success is not an overnight event. It's not something that just appears one day because you wished for it. It comes from consistent effort applied over time. The problem is, most people give up too soon. They plant the seed, but don't stick around long enough to see it grow. They expect instant results, and when success doesn't show up on their timeline, they walk away. But the ones who truly make it, the ones who attract success instead of chasing it, understand the power of patience and persistence. Think about the process of building wealth. It doesn't happen in a single transaction. It happens through daily disciplines. The way you handle money, the way you invest in yourself, the way you take advantage of opportunities over time. A person who understands wealth building doesn't look for get-rich-quick schemes. Instead, they focus on small, consistent actions that compound into something great. It's the same with developing a skill. Let's say you want to become an expert in your field. You start learning, practicing, improving, but after a few months, you don't see big results. This is where most people quit. They say it's not working, when in reality, they just haven't given it enough time. Success follows those who are patient enough to keep going when results aren't visible yet. There's a reason why people admire those who have mastered something, the athlete, the musician, the entrepreneur, because they've put in the time. They've stayed persistent when others gave up. They've kept going long after the excitement wore off. That's the difference between those who attract success and those who chase it without ever catching it. One of the biggest mistakes people make is expecting too much too soon. They set a goal, they take action, and when they don't see immediate results, they assume they've failed. But what they don't realize is that success has a delayed response. You don't see the rewards of your effort instantly, but that doesn't mean progress isn't happening. It's like going to the gym. You don't do one workout and expect to see a transformation, but if you stick with it for 6 months, a year, 5 years, the results are undeniable. Success is just like that. It rewards the ones who are willing to trust the process and stay the course. If you're working on something, a business, a skill, a personal goal, commit to it for at least 6 months without quitting. Give it your full effort, stay patient, and resist the urge to jump from one thing to another. Too many people abandon their efforts just before the breakthrough happens. But if you're willing to stay persistent when most would quit, success will start chasing you instead of the other way around. Most people want success, but they don't want discomfort. They want growth, but they don't want the stretching that comes with it. They want more wealth, better opportunities, and a higher quality of life, but they resist the very process that would make it happen. The truth is, success lives outside your comfort zone. If you always do what feels safe and familiar, you'll always stay where you are. It's easy to settle into routines. It's easy to stay where things feel comfortable. But comfort is a trap. The moment you stop challenging yourself, you stop growing. And the moment you stop growing, success stops looking for you. Think about it. Have you ever seen a truly successful person who refuses to take risks, who avoids challenges? Not a chance. The people who attract success are the ones who are willing to step into the unknown, to face discomfort, to push themselves beyond what they think they're capable of. Now, this doesn't mean recklessness. It doesn't mean making foolish decisions. It means embracing the discomfort of learning something new, of taking on challenges that stretch you, of doing what most people avoid. Maybe it's speaking in front of a group when you'd rather stay silent. Maybe it's making that phone call to a potential client when your nerves are telling you to put it off. Maybe it's making an investment when your fear is whispering, "What if it doesn't work?" Growth is uncomfortable, but so is staying the same while the world moves forward. Think about any great success story. The entrepreneur who built an empire didn't do it by playing it safe. The athlete who became a champion didn't do it by sticking to easy workouts. The person who became financially independent didn't do it by making the same decisions as everyone else. Success follows courage. It follows the person who is willing to endure discomfort in the short term for transformation in the long term. The real question is, are you willing to do what most won't? Here's a challenge. Every single day, Do something that makes you uncomfortable. Speak up in that meeting, make that call, take that step toward your goal, even if it scares you. Your future self is waiting on the other side of your fears. Most people stay trapped because they refuse to push past the first sign of discomfort. But the moment you get comfortable with being uncomfortable, everything changes. Because once you prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort, there's nothing you can't take on. That's when success starts coming to you. Most people work hard at their jobs, but very few work hard on themselves. They wake up, go to work, put in their hours, and hope that one day success will find them. But success doesn't work that way. Success comes to those who become more valuable. And the only way to increase your value is to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you work hard at your job, you might make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. Why? Because your income is a direct reflection of the value you bring to the marketplace. If you want to earn more, you must become more. Think about it. Two people can work the same number of hours, but one earns 10 times more than the other. Why? Because one has developed skills that command higher value. The world doesn't pay you for time, it pays you for value. And if you want to attract more success, you have to increase your value. Most people don't realize this. They wait for a raise instead of raising their own worth. They hope for an opportunity instead of preparing for it. But the marketplace is simple. It rewards those who invest in themselves. The people who read, who learn, who grow. Those are the people success follows. Let me ask you, how much time do you spend daily improving yourself? Not just working, not just keeping busy, but truly growing your skills, your mindset, and your ability to provide value. Here's an action step that will change everything. Dedicate 1 hour a day to developing a high-impact skill. Whether it's sales, leadership, negotiation, marketing, or public speaking, pick something that will increase your ability to earn. Because when you develop yourself, the marketplace has no choice but to respond. Look at the top earners in any industry. They didn't get there by chance. They got there because they mastered something valuable. A top salesperson doesn't just sell, they influence. A great leader doesn't just manage people, they inspire them. A top entrepreneur doesn't just start a business, they create value that people can't ignore. The difference between a life of struggle and a life of abundance isn't luck. It's who you become. The person who dedicates time daily to improving will always outgrow the one who doesn't. Success isn't about working harder on your job. It's about working harder on yourself. So starting today, make a commitment, 1 hour every day. Grow your skills, sharpen your mind, become more valuable. Because as you grow, so will your success. The world rewards those who invest in themselves. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They don't fail because they lack intelligence. They fail because they're distracted. They waste too much time on things that don't move the needle. Scrolling, watching, reacting, instead of creating, building, and producing. If everything is important, nothing is important. Success requires focus. And focus means learning to say no, not just to the bad, but to the unimportant. Because here's the truth. Distractions don't always look like distractions. Sometimes they look like harmless habits. A little extra time on social media. A few more minutes watching TV. An extra task that feels productive, but isn't really moving you forward. Most people major in minor things. They give their time to low-value activities while their real goals sit on the back burner. But if you study successful people, they don't do that. They protect their time like it's gold, because time is the one thing you never get back. You can make more money, but you can't make more time. So let me ask you, what is stealing your time? What small distractions are keeping you from big results? If you're serious about attracting success, you have to master the power of no. No to wasting time. No to endless scrolling. No to things that don't align with your vision. Every time you say yes to a distraction, you're saying no to your future. The key is prioritization. Each morning, identify the one high-impact task that moves you closer to your goal. Not 5, not 10, just 1. Do it first before you check your phone. Before you reply to messages, before the world demands your attention. Because if you don't own your time, Distractions will own it for you. Let me give you a practical example. A struggling entrepreneur once told me, "I work all day, but I don't see results." I asked him, "What's the most important thing you should be doing daily?" He thought for a moment and said, "Selling." So I asked, "How much of your day do you actually spend selling?" His face dropped. The answer? Less than an hour. The rest was spent answering emails, fixing small problems, and doing things that felt like work, but weren't actually driving success. That's how distractions steal your future. They don't always come as entertainment. Sometimes they come disguised as busyness. So starting today, take control. Each morning, identify your most important task and protect it. Do it first before distractions creep in. Say no to anything that doesn't serve your long-term vision. Because if you don't eliminate the unnecessary will eliminate your success. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They don't fail because they lack intelligence. They fail because they don't believe they can win. They talk themselves out of success before they even begin. They let doubt, fear, and insecurity hold them back. But here's the truth. If you don't believe in yourself, who else will? Success starts in the mind before it shows up in reality. Your mindset determines your actions, and your actions determine your results. If deep down you believe you're not capable, not worthy, or not good enough, you'll sabotage yourself. You'll hesitate, you'll procrastinate, you'll find excuses. But if you develop an unshakable belief in yourself, you'll take bold action. You'll push forward despite fear. You'll refuse to quit when things get tough. Think about it. Have you ever seen a truly successful person who is filled with doubt? No. The most successful people have rock-solid belief in their ability to figure things out. They weren't born with confidence, they built it by taking action, proving to themselves that they could grow, adapt, and win. Now, let's be honest. Most people don't grow up with this belief. Maybe you've been told you're not smart enough, not talented enough, not lucky enough. But let me tell you something. Success is not about what others believe about you. It's about what you believe about yourself. You can listen to the doubters or you can prove them wrong. A young man once told me, "I want to start a business, but I don't think I can do it." I asked him, "Have you ever done anything difficult before?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Then why do you believe you can't do this?" He was silent. See, most of the time, doubt isn't based on reality. It's just a habit of thinking small. The good news? You can train your mind to believe in yourself. You don't have to wait for confidence. It comes from action. Here's what you do. Every day, tell yourself, "I can do this." Not once, not twice, every single day. Write it down, say it out loud. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself of every challenge you've overcome. Start keeping promises to yourself. Set small goals and accomplish them. Every little win builds confidence. And most importantly, surround yourself with people who believe in you. If you spend time with people who doubt you, criticize you, and pull you down, you'll start believing them. But if you're around people who push you, challenge you, and remind you of your potential, your belief will grow. So starting today, make a decision. Believe in yourself, even before the results show up. Because when you truly believe, you'll take the action necessary to turn your vision into reality. And that's when success starts chasing you. Most people spend their days looking for what's wrong. They focus on obstacles, limitations, and all the reasons something won't work. And what happens? Their mind gets trained to see problems everywhere. They miss opportunities because they're too busy complaining about what's difficult. But here's the truth. Success doesn't come to those who focus on problems. Success comes to those who train their minds to see opportunities. When something goes wrong, most people say, "Why me?" They blame the economy, their circumstances, or bad luck. But the successful person asks a different question. Where's the opportunity in this? See, every challenge contains an opportunity, but only if you're looking for it. I remember a time when a young entrepreneur came to me and said, "I tried starting my business, but nothing is working." I asked, "What's not working?" He said, "Customers aren't buying." I said, "That's not a problem. That's an opportunity to learn. What are they saying? What feedback are you getting? What could you improve?" See, he was focused on the failure. But the right mindset focuses on the lesson. He went back, adjusted his approach, listened to his customers, and within months, his business turned around. Why? Because instead of focusing on what was wrong, he focused on how to make it right. Now, let me tell you something important. Life will never be free of problems. The economy will have ups and downs. Your plans won't always go smoothly. Unexpected challenges will show up. But if you train your mind to find opportunities instead of dwelling on problems, you'll always be one step ahead. Here's how you do it. Every time you catch yourself thinking, this is hard, or this isn't fair, stop and ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of saying, I don't know what to do, ask, who can I learn from? Instead of thinking, this is a setback, say, this is a lesson. A struggling salesman once told me, I hate rejection. I said, that's because you're focused on the wrong thing. Don't focus on rejection, focus on the next opportunity. He changed his approach. Instead of feeling defeated when someone said no, he reminded himself that every no brought him one step closer to a yes. That shift in thinking tripled his sales. That's the power of training your mind. The world is filled with problems, but it's also filled with opportunities for those who are looking. And here's the secret. Opportunity doesn't shout, it whispers. If your mind is too busy complaining, you'll miss it. But if you train yourself to ask the right questions, to focus on solutions, to look for what's possible, success will start finding you. So starting today, make a commitment. Become the person who sees opportunities where others see obstacles. Because the more opportunities you find, the faster success will chase you. Most people go through life asking, what can I get? They want more money, more recognition, more success. But here's what they don't realize. Success doesn't come from taking. It comes from giving. The more value you create, the more success will flow into your life. That's the secret most people never learn. I remember talking to a young man who wanted to be wealthy. He said, I want to make a lot of money. I asked, how are you planning to do that? He said, I don't know yet. I just need to find the right opportunity. I said, you're focused on the wrong thing. Instead of asking, how can I make more money? Ask, how can I serve more people? How can I create more value? Because here's the truth. Money is a reward for the value you bring to the marketplace. Look at the most successful businesses. They don't chase money. They solve problems. They serve people. They create products and services that make life easier, better, or more enjoyable. The money follows because the value comes first. Giving starts the receiving process. That's how success works. A struggling salesperson once told me, I'm not making enough sales. I asked, how many people have you helped this week? He looked confused. I said, that's your problem. You're focused on selling, not serving. Instead of thinking, how can I close a deal? Start thinking, how can I help my customers win? He changed his approach. He started educating his customers, giving them honest advice, helping them make better decisions. Within months, his sales doubled. Why? Because he focused on giving more than he took. Now, this principle isn't just about business. It applies to every area of life. Want better relationships? Stop asking what people can do for you and start asking, how can I add value? Want to be promoted at work? Stop waiting for recognition and start doing more than what's expected. Serve, give, contribute. That's the secret to attracting success. But let me be clear. This isn't about giving with the expectation of immediate return. You don't plant a seed today and expect a tree tomorrow. You give because it's the right thing to do, and over time, success finds its way back to you. The people who struggle are the ones always looking for shortcuts, always asking, what's in it for me? But the real winners are the ones who wake up every day and ask, how can I create more value? So here's your challenge. Every day, ask yourself, how can I serve today? How can I make someone's life better? It could be in your business, your work, or your relationships. Maybe it's as simple as sharing knowledge, helping a colleague, or going the extra mile for a customer. Whatever it is, do it. Because when you make value your focus, success has no choice but to follow. Most people are terrified of failure. They see rejection as a sign to stop, as proof that they're not good enough. But here's the truth. Failure is not the opposite of success. The ones who win in life aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail, learn, and keep going. I remember talking to a man who wanted to start a business. He was excited but hesitant. He said, "What if I fail?" I asked him, "What if you succeed?" He looked surprised. You see, most people focus on the downside. They let fear of failure keep them stuck. But if you're afraid to fail, you'll never take the steps necessary to succeed. Rejection isn't the enemy. Fear of rejection is. The most successful people in the world are the ones who learned how to handle rejection. A young salesman once told me he was struggling because too many people were saying no. I asked him, "How many people have you talked to this week?" He said, 10. I said, "That's the problem. You haven't failed enough." I told him to increase his numbers, to get comfortable with hearing no. A month later, his sales had doubled. Not because he was suddenly better, but because he learned that rejection was just part of the process. Think about a child learning to walk. They don't fall once and decide, maybe walking isn't for me. No, they get up and try again. But somewhere along the way, we forget that failure is just part of growth. Every rejection, every mistake, every setback carries a lesson. The question is, are you learning from it? Some people experience failure and quit. Others use it as fuel. The difference is in how you interpret it. Failure isn't final unless you stop trying. Walt Disney was fired from his first job for lacking creativity. Colonel Sanders heard no over 1,000 times before someone finally said yes to his chicken recipe. What if they had stopped? Here's the key. Train yourself to see failure as feedback. Instead of saying, "I failed," say, "I learned." Instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," think, "I just need to improve." That shift in thinking separates those who struggle from those who succeed. So here's your challenge. The next time you fail, don't complain. Don't make excuses. Instead, write down what you learn. Then immediately take action on that lesson. Fail fast, learn faster. The faster you go through failure, the faster you get to success. Because success doesn't go to those who avoid failure. It goes to those who use it to get better.